So it's quite challenging, and I think it's not the same like UX UI 10 years ago right now, and the fact they are AI and so on. So I think it's quite interesting for that.
I think that businesses are becoming increasingly aware of how important design is, and I've seen the impact that it can have myself. But I think that design journey is often poorly understood. Can you talk to me about the way that good user experience design could benefit an e-commerce website or something like that? It's far more than just making the user interface look nice, right?
Yeah, maybe just to be sure that we can start with a UX and UI definition, just to be sure that everyone understands. In fact, I think the picture with a ketchup bottle is really interesting to use because we can say that the UI is the visual things like the bottle, and the UX is the user experience. So here it will be the feeling that people are maybe struggling to use it, or happiness because it was easy to use. So the UX is more about the feeling, and the UI is more about the visual things, what you can see. I think how I can define a good UX experience will be about the good UX strategy during your process to rebuild. For example, I remember a company called me because there are a huge traffic on their website, but no one is buying their product online. And in fact, it's because it was really difficult. I analyzed the website of the e-shop and I realized that it was really hard to find, for example, where to add in basket this product or to purchase the product online. So I think you need to focus about what is the journey. For example, have a clear buy button, or you need, like, for example, take your hand with the user experience just to be sure that it's easy to understand for them to buy your product on your e-shop. I asked them later when they did the new change on the website how it's going, and they say, oh, now people can buy online and it's better.
Mean that a crucial first step in the design process is understanding your customer and their needs.
Yeah, in my case, when I'm working on the project, I start with user interview just to understand their needs. You need to talk the same languages as your customer. In other case, you can lose them. So it's not about only the native languages. Most of the time, you don't have to use some technical languages or words because it will be complex for people. But I think when you are working for B2B and you are in a very specific technical engineer world, I think, yeah, you can use some technical words. But in other case, most of the time, don't use them because you will lose your user experience. I think it's also using something to explain what you want to do. So, for example, you can use images, you can use something. It's also something that it can be understandable for everyone, even if it's 5 years kid.
What about diversity within that target audience?
Yeah, the fact is accessibility is to make easy to use for everyone, even if you are disability or not. When you are focusing about accessibility, in fact, you will change a bit how you create your product. The accessibility things and new tools or feature, it will benefit also for everyone else. For example, if you are working on an interface or website and you want to help colorblind people to read your text, and so you focus about the color contrast, and in fact it will be helpful for other people and benefit for everyone because it avoids some high strain. So yeah, so it will be easier to read for everyone.
And it's the same principle for other areas where you might consider disabilities, for example, neurodivergence or ADHD. When you consider that in design, actually the impact is it becomes better for everyone.
Yeah, for example, I think for people with ADHD, it can be because they can be really loose about some a tiny thing. So maybe avoid some too much animation on your website and motion design because you can lose them. So I think, yeah, you have to to find the balance between something like to make modern, but also not too much, because in other case you can lose people.
Somebody who is often annoyed when I just want to get to the content on a website and all of the animation is distracting and frustrating me. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, it's a balance, and just to know about who is really your customer. I know you can't target everyone, because if you target everyone, you will target no one.
That mean that good design is far more than just having a wow factor with impressive animations and flash on the surface. I feel that some of the products that have impressed me the most are the ones where I haven't even noticed the design because I'm so busy using the product.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, I think a good design is not really with the wow effect or the trendy design stuff and so on, because, for example, trendy, the thing that it's just a trend, so it will be a short of period. So if you follow the trend, maybe in 6 months later, you have to rebuild everything because it will be seen as old-fashioned and so on. Maybe the trend is good, and I think follow innovation is good too, but I think you have to find the balance between that, about to create something modern and easy to use for your user, but in the same time not to be too much, because, for example, I remember I worked for a customer that he had a website but didn't change anything over 10 years, so it was very old-fashioned website. And in fact, I focus about their user because it was mostly from people from 40 years and 65 years. So it's not people that have they not use every time digital product, and they don't know about digital platform. So I prefer to do something modern, very clean, very simple, very accessible. I think there may be one or two animations just to create a website that can be a bit moved, but very clean animation. I didn't use the trendy things or the wow effect. I didn't focus about that because I know the target was really don't want to see that things, and I was scared that people can be lost if I using too much animation. So that's why I prefer to stay very clean. And in fact, the start, before the redesign the website, there was no traffic on the website, and now there are like 1,000 views on the website a week. So it's quite amazing. And in fact, it's helped the company to have more traffic and also more customers. So it's great to find the balance between something modern and use the innovation without lose your user or your customer. Yeah.
Can you think of a product so smooth and so well balanced that you almost don't realize that you're using it?
Wow, I didn't have any example right now. But yeah, I think Google Maps is quite easy to use because you just have to enter your direction, and you can just start and find the fact you are by bike, by train, by bus, or something like that. It's quite easy to use, even if it's quite difficult product to make.
Google Maps is very understated, right? There is no big animations.
Yeah. It's quite easy to use. You just have some click, but not too much. You have a huge button like to start your thing, so it's quite easy to use when you are in a car or by bike and so on. So it's quite easy. So I think it's quite interesting to use this one, for example. And
Can you think of any products you've used where they had a little bit of kind of flash or animation, but where it helps them tell the story of a product or just makes it much more appealing?
Flow maybe is a good example for the website, because I remember there are some video to explain how it works, and where you have some moving things and so on to try to understand. Or Figma also, the website is quite easy to use because all the time when they show a new feature, for example, you have a tiny animation that explain what is it, how to use. Yeah, both examples are quite good because they use, and their target audience is someone who know how to use digital products. So it's quite easy to use to have this kind of experience on the and this kind of design on their website because they can use, and it's quite easy to understand how you can use them and what is the benefit of their new feature, for example. So I think it's some great example where they can use new technology and trendy things, for example, and also the wow effect. But it's a good thing because in this case, you show how it's work, your product, or what is the benefits and so on.
Thank you, Lorène. It's been a fascinating insight into the world through the eyes of the user experience designer.